Yes, 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 yes. Hey, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, everybody. Welcome back to the stream. Oh, good morning, Winkoi. Good morning, Diamond X. Good morning, everybody. Sorry about that. I was waiting for one of my pages to load. Couldn't see you guys were saying hello. Anyways, good morning. Yeah, we'll get started in just a second or two. All right, so we'll add here on the little notepad down on the bottom, market positive. Two. Um, that's really it so far because I haven't really looked at anything. Kind of just woke up, took a shower, grabbed some coffee, did a couple random things, and haven't really done a whole lot since. So haven't even looked at the VIX, really didn't look at a whole lot of penny stocks. Well, I have, but I haven't really done a whole lot. 1 second. Okay. All right. So first things first. I do want to look at the volatility index. I will bring that down here. All right, so volatility index. Where's this thing at? What's this thing gonna do? Let's see. That's the 15 minute. What about the 30? Probably right into it. Resistance. Not quite. Okay. All right, so pretty much what's going on right now is the volatility index has not broken out. Still negative. So let me check one more thing. I guess it's not going to really matter because that's all the way up there. So it's going to be below most likely. Yep, there's no confirmation that the market's going to sell off right now. So when we bring up the SPY here, which I will do in just a second, delete all the randomness. All right, so this morning everyone's waking up after Thanksgiving, a weekend. Which, by the way, for those that tuned in last week, you guys will probably remember I said, generally speaking, whenever you're coming into a holiday week, it always seems like the market gets pumped up and forced up. So whether it be Thanksgiving, it's Christmas, it doesn't matter, Halloween, I don't know, but just always seems like leading into a weekend holiday or just a holiday in general, a lot of times the markets go up, or like half days when there's half days, people are like, oh, the market's going to be terrible. It's like, yeah, it might not be the fastest moving market, but it's probably going to go up. So, anyways, this morning the market is gapped down and it's pulled back, right? So that's that. All right. Now everybody this morning is basically thinking, oh, is the market going to top? Is it going to pull back more? Is this going to be a dip? Whatever, right? So that's all the scenarios running through people's minds. All right, so we're going to come here. We're going to look at the volatility index. So we know that the market, right? So with this gap down and this move overnight in the market, that creates this gap up on the volatility index. Now the volatility index is gapped up so much so, well, the volatility market is gapped up, but it has not broken out and signaled that there's true fear in the market. So what we've seen on the market overnight, over the weekend, is it has gapped down a little bit and prices have dropped a little bit. As a result, volatility index has gone up, but it has not gone up enough to confirm a breakdown or a more severe pullback on the market from what we've already seen. Basically, what we've already seen is the worst of the move to the downside, unless the VIX breaks out, most likely. All right. So when we're looking at the VIX, where is the breakout level on the VIX? The breakout level would be here, $18.59. So unless the VIX is over that, there's a strong chance that the dip on the market gets bought up and we run it up again. So right now we should still be looking at arguably dip longs until proven otherwise. All right. So pretty much that just means we're going to look for, I mean, it not what we're going to look for. We're basically going to follow the VIX. If the VIX breaks out, then we're going to be hands off long. If the VIX rejects the market and it rolls over, we're going to go back long. I mean, it's really, that's about as simple as I can make it. Now, everyone always wants to use their brain, same as I do, and start throwing out all these different scenarios, this, that, the other, this, that. But again, at the simplest foundation or the most simple way to put it, it's just that. If the VIX is not breaking out, the likelihood that the market continues to pull back is less likely. All right. So pretty much all you're going to do today is it relates to the S&P 500 is you're going to look at the volatility index, and this is pretty much what you're going to tell yourself. Market on VIX has gapped up. It is below 1859, 1860. If it stays below, the market's going to go into another long. It's just going to get bought up and go up, right? If today somehow the VIX were to break out of that level and turn into a breakout, then yeah, we would probably start to pull the market back a little more on this gap down. I know it might seem silly and it might seem stupid, but that's pretty much it. Literally. So, that being said, until the VIX breaks out 1860, I'm going to be optimistic that this dip gets bought and it continues into a long. If that doesn't happen, again, it doesn't really matter, right? But that's just my assumption. All right. So, that being said, that's pretty much your stock market for the day as it relates to what's going to dictate the market's either going up or pulling back. So your momentum is going to be dictated around 1850s, 1860 days. And that's pretty much all you got to know about that. Okay, over to the market. So what we're going to do with the market, we're pretty much going to be looking for dippy dippy back to rippy rippy for the time being. If it goes down, it's not a big deal. Remember, you're supposed to be swing long the stock market days ago. So that's another thing I guess we will touch on just real quick. Uh, maybe my computer works. All right. So remember that the where was it? Let's see. Let's just find out again. So remember, when we're talking about watching for a dip back to long this morning, it's just arguably because of the VIX not breaking out yet. But also do remember that this is when me, and the system said to get long, right where I pointed with the arrow, right? So that's when you were supposed to be long bias the stock market right there on that day, on this move up, right? So since then, market move up, dip, little dip, little dip, gap down dip, right? Now it's does the VIX break out or does the VIX not? If VIX doesn't break out, this gap down dip gets bought up. If the VIX breaks out, then maybe we roll the market over. Don't know. That's why I'm watching the VIX. But we also know you're supposed to be long last week on the breakout over the 50 SMA. If you didn't get long then, in theory, you're late to the initial start of the swing long market. But if this is a fake breakdown, then this is going to turn into a good long. So this would be your buying opportunity within the buy signal built off the hopes or built off the idea that the volatility index is not going to break out. As a result, me, you, the market, we will use this decrease in price as a buying opportunity. We don't know if we're going to be right. We don't know if we're going to be wrong. The market will always do whatever it wants. But all said and done, what's going to happen? The market will either go up or the market will either go down. It never truly trades sideways. It's always going up and down. Sideways action is still up and down, it's just tighter. So, two things can happen. Market go up, market go down. What tool will we use? We will look at the VIX. If the VIX isn't breaking out, market's probably not going to go down as aggressive. This turns into a dip buy. If we're wrong, market VIX breaks out, then this dip will get sold into. Okay, whatever. You know what I mean? Don't risk your entire account. You'll be fine. Okay. So, yeah, that pretty much covers the market there. So I'm gonna add that there. We basically long UPRO, 3x leverage ETF until market tells me not to. And it hasn't told me that yet. All right. Um, what next? Bitcoin. Bitcoin got smoked last night or over the weekend. Honestly, is anyone surprised? No, we're not surprised. Why are we not surprised here on this YouTube stream? Because we already knew 3 years ago. Well, we assumed as far back as 3 years ago, Bitcoin would go into a bear market starting this October. Well, now it's December and the market's down like some 30%. Now, right here, over the weekend, the market kind of had this nice bounce. Everyone was cheering. They're also happy. I was actually at the casino this weekend for my niece's birthday. I took her out to the casino. She had never been there. She's 22. Took her out to the casino, gave her a couple $100 to gamble with, taught her how to play craps. She's not a gambler. I mean, I'm not, I don't really, outside of like trading, trading is about the closest thing I get to gambling these days. Um, because I just statistically, you're not going to win gambling. And even trading, like over the long term, most people are going to lose anyway. So it's like, I spent a long time involving myself in call it riskier investment style approach via trading. So I don't really have the desire to gamble money when it comes to like the casino or sports games. I do zero gambling. There is not an addictive trade into me to go do that at a casino or like sports betting or horse racing or anything like that. That being said, we went to the casino. I taught her to play craps. Craps is your highest probability odds of winning in the casino is by playing craps. So, anyways, I taught her to play craps. And she ended up making like $500 or whatever. I gave her a couple hundred. She ended up making like 700 or whatever it was. So she did really well. So that was fun. And the reason I'm telling you this is because, oh, that's right. My other sister's friends happened to be at the casino that night, and we ran into him. So the discussion of Bitcoin comes up and everyone's talking, oh, well, your sister told me you run a trading channel and all this stuff and yada, yada, yada. Like, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? And Bitcoin this, Bitcoin that. And they're like, oh, it's going down right now. I think it's a great buying opportunity. I'm like, it could be, but we also think it's going to be in a bear market for the next year and a half. And they're like, are you sure? Like, are you really think? And then I was like, I do think. Now I could be wrong, but I have to trust my intuition because my intuition led us to correctly calling a bear market start this October, years ahead of time. So I have to continue following my analysis, considering the fact that it's predicted the market top in this October. All right. So that was kind of fun to have that discussion there over the weekend. So anyways, that being said, Bitcoin, um, yeah, we got some time, but that's all leading us into this. So this little rollover top here, what was that? All right. You guys already know what that is. We discussed it last week. That was one of our daily VWAP levels. We pretty much said the market would go here, and then if it doesn't hit, it's just going to roll over, right? So we can map that off real quick. Let's do that. So this is going to get us all caught up on Bitcoin. We'll know exactly why the market's rolled over and why everyone was cheering on the weekend and blah, blah, blah. Right? So again, pretty much whenever the market's in an uptrend or a downtrend, it's going to go down and then it's going to bounce and it's going to go down and it's going to bounce and it's going to go down. That's a downtrend. If it's in an uptrend, it's going to go up, pull back, go up, pull back, go up, etc. All right. So let's figure that one out. Right? So we're pretty much just going to do this. Right? We're going to go from about here, see how anchor high hits that there, goes down. All right, that's going to be a new anchor spot, arguably. that one's pretty close. We can get it closer, but that's good enough. So essentially you have the high, down, hit VWAP, down, bounce at VWAP, down, bounce, pretty much at VWAP, down, right? So now we're going to be doing what? We're going to be, oh, repeat, sorry. We're going to be anchoring volume weighted average price to this level here. And there you go. Pretty much that, right? So down. Actually, I anchored that one wrong too. It's supposed to be on this next candle there. All right. Pretty much. So there you go. Down, bounce, down. So again, that's something we pretty much saw coming from a mile away anyways. So again, now what are we going to do? We're just going to do this. We're going to take a view out. We're actually going to put it here, and then we're going to put it on this candle. And so now what's going to happen is arguably if market just goes like that, then at some point we're going to bounce into those VWAPs again, and we're going to look down, right? And we'll do that same thing over and over and over and over until it doesn't work, all right? When it doesn't work, that just means we're most likely going for a bigger long reset to more resistance than down. All right, so right now we are in a bear market. We are in a downtrend. We're deploying bearish tactics into the Bitcoin market as opposed to bullish tactics, meaning we're not looking for these crazy, like long bias dip setups. We're assuming that everything that's going up right now is a counterbalance within a bigger bearish downtrend. So far, that's proven correct. Okay, so the market, we've already figured that one out. We've had a nice long move today, and for the next couple days, it's all going to be whether or not the VIX breaks out or VIX doesn't break out, so on and so forth, right? Bitcoin, it's in a bear market. We expect to continue into a bear market. We're deploying bearish tactics to the Bitcoin market. Pretty straightforward there. We're leading into the winter time. This is when penny stocks generally start to pick up a little bit. They're a little bit more fun to trade, a little bit more active. We'll continue covering that every single day as well. The only thing we haven't covered is how, um, you know, how to use your keyboard to type into the chat on YouTube. We still have to do a complete curriculum on that because it appears that most people don't know how to use their keyboard and say, "Good morning, Connor." You know? So we're working on that one. We'll get there. It's probably a little harder than learning to trade stocks, but I'm sure we'll get there. I'm not sure how you guys enter the ticker symbol for the stocks or the instruments you guys look at, but that you know what? You probably just have them all saved in a list and you just copy and paste them. That's probably what you guys do. All right, so that's cool. That's fun. That's pretty much the entire market for the day. More will change, but yeah, just try to keep it simple. Rock and roll. That's pretty much it. So yeah. Now I'm going to start looking at some other stuff. This is just kind of getting like a little bit more detailed on different strategies and stuff, but we'll probably just look at the buy signal volume weighted average price here. So if that was the long, hold up, that's not right. Is there a tennis man here? There is. Regular trading hours. Sweet, sweet. Let's see, where's our Fibonacci at for this one? Oh, we did the inverse fib move, so let's see. I just want to set this all up. You guys will not probably be able to follow half the stuff I'm about to do, and that's okay. You're not supposed to be able to do it this quick. So we hit the inverse fib move, so that's done. And then I'm going to throw on the new fib here, which could be from there to there. So we hit that 161 as well. So that's done. What about if I do this fib ha there, there, then obviously we've already hit. We'll make that. Okay, cool, cool, cool. That's done. Check the volume weighted average price of the current buy signal would be there, and we've, oop, that's wrong. Hold on. Settings low. Boom, boom. All right, cool. That's done. Oh, that guy. What? Where's it? What is going on here? Come on. Oh, I'm at the highlighter. Go. Add that, and then we're gonna add this there. All right. What about this guy here? All right, so we're coming into that now. Okay. So let's see. We're gonna do this, that. All right. So if the market ends up rolling over a little bit here today, right? Kind of like maybe we don't kind of pick this dip up and go right away, then we'll be looking down to like right here. You see this box. So that's a target we'll have on the downside for selling, right? So as we discussed this morning. Well, actually, let me bring it up too. So, that's kind of really, actually, no, I can do, let me, um, I wonder, probably could just do this, add it there, and then just scroll it down. Yeah, like that. All right, perfect. All right, so pretty much we already discussed this, right? The VIX, right? The VIX above 1850 is not good for the market. The VIX staying below 1860 would be better for the market. All right. So in general, that's what we're thinking about for the VIX. Now, when we look at the levels on the market, right now, pretty much this yellow line, that would be, it's called level one, like level one support. We've come into it, we've kind of chopped it down, not really doing so well. All right. Level two would be down to here. All right. So essentially, that's what we will expect if markets want to slide today. That's our target down. All right. Um, as far as the target up, I don't really have a great one for the moment. Though I also haven't really thought too hard about that. Hmm, that is a good question. Obviously, 50% retrace a gap. I mean, those are always plausible, whatever. But yeah, anyways, like I said, we're focused on the VIX. If VIX goes over 1860 or whatnot, then markets are pulling back. And then we're going to look to take the market down to 677, something like whatever I just said. What did I just say? Yeah, so that's the first. Yeah, we'll be looking to take the market down in that box down there. So that's kind of pretty much downside projections for market. Also, we have a gap down. So when the market opens, we will be running the SPX gap down Fibonacci strategy. That's going to pretty much tell us where we can expect the market to sell off to if markets are going to go for a gap and go to the downside, or even a gap pull or a pullback and then a move to the downside. So yeah, again, I think everything's pretty much straightforward here. We have downside projection targets already mapped off. The upside ones, again, upside targets aren't even really determined right now because we're in a gap down. So if we end up going up, we're just going to be looking at 50% retraces of the gap, back to highs, back to SMA trends, whatever, right? That's all pretty standard, if you will. So yeah, we'll see how this day shapes up. Let me just double check a couple other things. I haven't looked at any algorithm candles on the QQQ or the SPY. If there are some, there probably is some from a past couple days. Also, if markets turn into a slide, we're just going to be basically looking down to untested Fibonacci's, untested golden pockets, etc. We have about 2 minutes, 50 seconds till the market opens. So far, the market doesn't look good leading into the open, but things can change. All right, so that's also the other thing too. We have this gigantic algorithm candle from Friday. So let's see where this is at. So pretty much one thing we're probably trying to do today is get the golden pocket of the algorithm candle as well, which we kind of already did in the after hours, and now we're there. Hmm. Yeah, so we might even try to take the SPY down to like 678.37 because that would be a golden pocket of what was that, Friday's sessions, algorithm candle, so on and so forth. Again, I'm not bearish the stock market in terms of we're looking for swing bearish right now. We haven't triggered swing bearish, but we might have like intraday momentum down to start, you know what I mean? But we're not on a swing bearish move just yet. There's no confirmation of a swing bearish move. The only thing we have are, some short-term trading reasons to take the markets a little lower to then hopefully seek out more support. That's pretty much it. That's where my mind has to be. Now remember, like that sort of mindset will eventually be wrong. You know what I mean? Like markets eventually have to take a turn in the sense that if markets say markets were going up for 2 months, right? Eventually, one of the pullbacks will turn into a corrective pullback. You know what I mean? So it's like no matter what, you're eventually going to be wrong if you continue to follow that sort of bias ongoing. But yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do? Think every single dip in the market's gonna be a corrective sell-off? You're gonna be wrong more times than you can friggin' more. You'll be wrong more times than you blink in a day. But if you think every dip is supposed to get bought, then you'll be correct more often than not. And then eventually you'll find the day it's like, oh, actually today's the day the dip doesn't get bought. You know what I mean? And the day the dip doesn't get bought is usually going to be the day that the VIX breaks out. You'll start, there'll be signals, there'll be signs that you're wrong, right? And one of which is usually going to be the volatility index. Yeah, so I'm gonna take this back up. We're going up there with it. And yeah, as far as penny stocks go, let's see. Ooh, what is you? Maybe. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really get a ton of time to look too close at everything. I mean, most of the stuff I'm looking at already broke out, went up. There's one stock I'm looking at that could be directly on support, like right now. And that's the only one I'm considering taking a long on for the moment. I'm just kind of seeing. Yeah, the only stock that maybe has a chance to just like hit support and get bought up that I could possibly see would be the stock RPGL. And it just depends. I mean, it has support down around heck 40 cents, kind of far away. It's got support around 46 cents. We're kind of a little bit off of that for the moment. So yeah, we'll see. There's a couple other ones moving, but none of them are really close to support. SPY getting bought up out of the gates. What is this? Little guy. Ooh, that's kind of interesting. I don't know though. I'll have to keep an eye on that one. The other stock that I kind of liked the look of today was FTEL penny stock, but again, we'll see. It just whatever ones you pick, all you can really do is hope that the people that control the stock market, you know, manipulate them higher. That's really all you can do. Wow, we have a super busy day here in the chat room. Good morning, everybody. All right, so this morning, again, VVIX and VIX have both gapped up, neither of which have broken out and said that we should just take the market screaming down. Doesn't mean that the markets won't go down, but yeah, as we were saying before, we don't really have confirmation on the volatility index. Why is this so stupid? I hate when it does that. Let's see, what is this in here? Oh, that's why, because that thing's stupid. Let's take that. Wait, no. Kind of, cancel. Oh my gosh, Thinkorswim, you were terrible. You were just absolutely terrible. All right, so to start the day, the market, it's kind of mixed, if you will. Well, it's really just the FANG. The Magnificent Seven aren't performing, so the market's kind of lackluster is the way it seems for the moment. All right. Happy Monday to everyone. Yay. All right. So far, market getting bought up in that dip. I mean, again, it's only like the first couple minutes of the day that pretty much means nothing, but yeah, so far, the dippy dippy has worked. Does that continue? I don't know. We'll see. But one thing is for certain, the VIX has not signaled us to try and sweep the markets down yet. Oh, yay, market's going up. Woo, happy Monday, Oliver. How are you, brother? How are you? Let's see. FTEL not really doing anything. RPGL going down to the price of 45 cents. Most likely. Wouldn't be surprised. Let's see. Oh, 30 minute. Yeah, most likely. Holy cow, the dip buy on the market. Wow, look at that. Oh, by the way, I mean not that you guys couldn't already figure this one out, but like I said too, since it's a gap down today, we'll be looking at you put a Fibonacci to the downside because it's a gap down, so we'd measure from the open to previous day close, right? And so the assumption would be pretty much the two most logical things in the day is the market would go down to 161 if it's going to do a gap and go or a gap pullback and go. If it doesn't just do a gap and go, then it's going to do what? It's going to go back to the golden pocket. So we're going to expect that the market's probably going up into that box today, assuming, right? Um, RPGL just sold off down to 45 cents. Actually, a little less than that. Again, that was kind of expected. Kind of thought it was gonna, oh, it just went into, well, we'll see. So this is what I want to talk about with RPGL real quick. So kind of thought it might have some potential. And again, that's just because it's over the support levels we look for. So right now, the two support levels that we look for would be 46 cents, 45 cents, and right here. This is our next support level right there. So those two yellow lines are the two support levels we would look for on RPGL. That being said, it doesn't look great now with the way it's sold off. But anyways, so let's bring up this chart here. So if we know that these are the two support levels we were looking at, then obviously we'd assume what this is fading down, and going to our current support levels, right? So that's kind of the thing is that this morning when I looked at RPGL, it's right here. And my charts are kind of scrunched. So I was like, oh, this looks pretty good, right? And then as I kind of zoomed in, I'm like, well, we're actually kind of above support. We still have a ways down, right? So that is we could see there was a 10% drop or so back down to support levels for RPGL. So that's what I was kind of saying. Actually, it kind of needs a little more room down. Probably going to go down to 45 cents here, right? Because as it's not, it's above support, right? So unless this thing just kind of takes off and goes, its rollover target is down to there. So that's pretty much why you saw this sell down right into that yellow line, 43 cents, and get bought up, right? So right there, this market's already up 6% from that support level we talked about. Now, granted, I'm not saying this is going to turn into a great trader. It's just you have to know how algorithms are going to move stocks. That's essentially it, right? So that was just pure algorithmic shifting to SMA calculation there. Market did not quite get up to the golden pocket. Little rejection there. Meh, lame, but close. All right, time to go over to the VIX. What's the VIX doing? VIX isn't really doing anything. So this top is most likely market internals. Yep, right there. So you can already see why the market top, because the FANG did. It's pretty straightforward. So market was getting pressed up, pressed up, pressed up, and then here you have a little bit of a rollover there on your Magnificent Seven stock. So now your market SPY, QQQ, they're going to roll over, pull back most likely as far as that's concerned, right? So as long as these roll over here, then you're going to see the markets roll over a bit. And it's straightforward stuff, guys. Oh, let's put that back right there. And then again, if we do end up doing the true gap pullback go, so what you see was the gap down. We just pulled the market back. We didn't quite get golden pockets there, then rolled over. Worst case scenario, I would assume downside would be like 161 to this 50 SMA. But the only way that's going to happen, right? The only way the market's going down to that 161 or that 50 SMA is the volatility index is going to have to break out. Without it breaking out, it's not going to happen. So again, we're not really thinking mega downside on the markets yet, and that's because the volatility index nor VVIX has said to do that. So again, we're not thinking mega downside today. It's too soon for that. The VIX and market hasn't necessarily told us that. But as long as the momentum in the immediate on our advancing declining issues is bad, then we're not going to look upwards in the immediate. You see what I'm saying? So look at like you see how these are all red. The MACD is red, right? So right now there's nothing positive on the major market cap stocks that would say, oh yeah, the market should just rally and go straight up, right? It's very lackluster. It's not quite there. The momentum for the market just to get straight up isn't there. But if you look, everything else is. If you look at the S&P issues, look at the S&P issues today, straight up, right? Why isn't the market going up, right? Look at the New York Stock Exchange. Shit, hold on. God damn it. Would this thing work? I mean, who at Thinkorswim do I have to talk to be like, hey, by the way, maybe take, just a couple $1 million of the few billion that you have and let's make shit work. All right, so right here you can see New York Stock Exchange issues going up, right? But market's not. Oh, maybe this is why. Because the Magnificent Seven, the biggest market cap stocks, have traded flat, sideways, and then rolled over. Like, oh. So now we've come to the conclusion that so far today, the market is being essentially controlled with those stocks. Regardless of what the S&P and regardless of what the New York Stock Exchange say and are doing, we're controlling the market's price action today with the major market cap stocks. That's usually the case, sometimes not, but it is right now. So market's not going to go up for the moment. All right. Does that mean we're swing bearish? No, it just means we're short-term momentum bearish down, right? For the time being, until some of the internal signals change, which would be these guys. By the way, RPGL bouncing pretty good there. And when I say bouncing pretty good, is it really a great bounce? No, it's just a good bounce off our support. I mean, we picked, 43 cents, 30-minute trend support there, now up 8%. So you could have bought that oversold bounce, made 8%. Might go more. I don't know. Don't make the rules. Probably not. But yeah, so that's cool. What else we got going on here? V. This thing's interesting. Kind of. I don't know. The setup's okay. That's more of a continuation setup play. What about this PRPH? Ooh, maybe. Actually, it could. That's a little wonky looking. NFE. Hmm. I mean, I like things when they're just breaking out or just at support. And this one here is FTEL, lame. What a boring sock. What a piece of crap. Being lame. All right, EVM. I mean, nothing. DYAI, nothing, nothing. Ooh, wait. Oh, that's right. This is that one. Hmm. Hmm. What's to do? What's to do? Again, the volatility index is not signaling us or signaling to us that the market is just going to get, you know, bought or sold off. Sorry, brain farting there. Yeah. So again, we're not. Market does not say we're going to sell off just yet. I'm just moving too much. NCT. Oh, that's right. That was that random one. No, can't do it unless it recovers. PRPH, what are you doing? V. What to do with a U? I don't know. V kind of looks good. It's kind of a weird setup. I don't know how I feel about it though. Oh my gosh, the market's going up. That's crazy. That's crazy, dog. Which you guys already know why. I mean, you can see, right? Look at what happened. Oh, there's green candles on the Magnificent Seven, so now the market's going up, right? So that's kind of that thing is we're basically using the Mag 7, pull the market back there, but nothing else in the market's bearish. Again, we already mentioned that the volatility index and the VVIX did not signal that we should be looking extremely bearish today. We're still pretty much looking at dip long the market. Why? Because the major signal tools did not say we should look to be kind of a bearish correction on the market. All right. So market is bouncing, going up. That's great. Thumbs up. So far, our market analysis and projections for the day have been correct. Thumbs up. So far, we've accurately predicted the world's largest globally traded ETF in the world. Yay. All from our sweatpants in our house with no college degree. Yay. Thumbs up. Ba-da, 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 ba-da. Now, does that mean it goes that way for forever? Not necessarily, but we'll find out eventually. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Mm, 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 mm. All right, I'm gonna bring up the volatility index real quick just so you guys can kind of look real quick. So let's see. Mm, mm. Yeah, I mean, it may not it may not have gone as perfect as the drawings, but I mean, oh, by the way, well, that's a little more detail, but Um, but yeah, I mean, you guys remember too from this morning. What do we talk about? So basically, you have this price here, 1856. Unless it's over, um, then we're not breaking the VIX out. So if the market stays below 1859, we're most likely or more likely to do what? Pick the market up in a dip, and go up, right? So VIX has not broken out levels that would tell us to be extremely bearish the market. All right, so we should also look at the 15-minute chart here. Um, ooh, AMD's actually kind of having a pretty good day there. So let's see. Uh, what am I doing? 15-minute chart? Yeah, 15 minute. All right, come back into here, 15-minute chart. So pretty much I'm assuming if the sell-off continues, which I think it will on the VIX, then that means we're going to see the market on the VIX go down to $17.12. So another way to think about it is we're going to kind of watch momentum on the market up, right, for the time being until something changes. So if things kind of go easy, right? Well, let me rephrase that. How do I So there's two levels that we're focused on with the volatility index right now. There could be more. I'm not really sure. Let me just double check. No, not that one. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Good enough for the point of what we're doing. All right, so we have two levels we're focused on, right? So what are those two levels? The two levels we're focused on are two SMAs. So the two SMA calculations that algorithms and computers are talking about behind the scenes in programs are going to be 1846 and they're going to be 1713. So from the open, computers, markets, right? They're thinking two things. Either VIX is going where? 1847 or it's going down to 1710, right? If the market gets bought up, it goes up, VIX goes down. If market gets bought up, VIX goes up, or sorry, VIX goes down, where are we going to go? 17. All right, so basically we're just taking the two SMA calculations here. All right, car business 6786. Thank you. Appreciate you. Have a great day. Have a blessed day. So yeah, I mean, this is pretty much what we're thinking, right? We have two SMA calculations on the market for the volatility index today, right? We know if the volatility index gets over 1850, then we could break the market out on the VIX and pull the market down. That's not happening, all right? So then we also know if the market is below 1846, then it's still a bearish market, right? We also know that the most previous SMA to break up was 17. So if we fail to break out at 18, market pulls back, we go 17. That's a lot to take in, but really all you got to know is that SMA calculations are basically magnets, and computers talk about them because SMAs are the only constant metric in the market across the board that can be used as a language or programmable language code. Computers cannot properly um, predict or speak of patterns across the market because everyone could view a head and shoulders pattern differently, a cup and handle pattern differently, a bull flag differently, how long, how many dips, how many high, whatever, right? So that's not very programmable. All right, it's not constant. All right, that's up for interpretation. What is not up for interpretation nor debate is an SMA calculation of previous price action. That is constant no matter what. Whatever the 5-day trading action was for the S&P 500 will be represented consistently and accurately with an SMA calculation. That sort of consistency and accuracy and can be programmed across anything from China to United States, right? Everyone knows what the SMA calculation is. It's not a secret, right? And it's programmable. It's a language. It's understood. Computers can go, okay, well, we know if VIX goes over this price point defined by this SMA, it could trigger volatility. All right. But we also know that prior to that, the VIX broke out this SMA. So we have these two SMA magnets that computers are now talking about in code language. All right. And it's going to be option A or option B. Now, obviously, I don't know how to program and all, so I'm saying it from layman's terms and a kid who probably has only 10% clue what he's talking about, but it works. Right. So I just know that behind the scenes today, computers are going, all right, VIX, we got this level here and this level here. Like that's what they're saying. If then statements, right? So if market breaks out 1710, but does not break out 1850, then we're trapped in the playing field of 1850 and 1710. If it doesn't want over 1850 and it wants to pull back, where do we look to pull it back to? 1710. Right? So that's my assumption is VIX is going down to 1710. And that was always an assumption before the stock market ever opened. That's another thing. You know, just it's always the system is repeating, right? So you might think there's a lot of rules and I might be saying a lot of random stuff, but it's like this morning I could have been like, "Hey guys, if we don't break out 15 and VIX goes down, we're going to target 1710." I could say all these things, right? But it's kind of confusing. Right? But again, right, like just look at it. Where does this yellow line come from on the VIX? This yellow line is just the 30-minute 50 SMA. This line here below is just the 15-minute, right? So we're just taking two time frames, the 15-minute and the 30-minute, all right? So let's look at the pre-market action now. Go into a pre-market chart, right? So think about this. So the market is bearish below the 30-minute, which is right here, which is the top one. So I'm going to do this 30-minute and 15-minute. We're about to hit the 15-minute target, so we'll just call it. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, guys. VIX 30-minute, or this is 30-minute. All right. This right here is 15-minute trend. 15-minute trend. All right. So we pretty much completed the sell off to the 15-minute trend. What did we just hit? We hit 1719. So the 15-minute trend's anywhere from like 1710, 1713, 17 something. That's basically job well done. Oh, wait, hold on. A round of applause, folks. You did not only predict the largest globally traded ETF, the S&P 500 today, but now you've also correctly predicted the world's largestly viewed volatility market. Job well done, folks. Job well done. Pat yourself on the back. Pat yourself on the back. That is just spectacular. All right. So remember, all that really happened today is the VIX went into this playing field. These two yellow lines. This is the playing field. All right. New playing fields will happen outside of. If we go outside here, or if we go outside here, then new playing field. But for the moment, we're inside this playing field. All right. And what is the story? If the VIX goes over the 30-minute, that could be a breakout. It could signal a more significant pullback on the stock market. We did not do that. So what did we say? If the market does not break out the 30-minute trend today on the VIX, then what? This becomes a dip buy. What happened in the market? Dip got bought going straight up. Does that last for forever? I don't know and I don't care. But what we do know is if the VIX does not break out the 30-minute, we're not signaled to be more bearish. This dip that you saw just gets bought. All right. Now, if the dip gets bought and the market goes up, we assume what? We assume VIX will probably see some action to the downside. All right. Well, if it's not breaking out the 30-minute and the last uptrend to start was the 15, look at the 15 breaks out. That's a 15-minute uptrend start. It goes towards the 30-minute. It does not break out the 30-minute. Where's the back test of the most recent uptrend? The 15. All right. Markets function on SMA calculation. We don't give a shit about your bull flag. Okay? We don't care about it. That's literally not even like close to how we think. The markets move based off programs, algorithms, and SMA calculations because those are constant languages across any computer system. Someone at JP Morgan can know exactly what someone at Citibank is thinking based off of SMA calculation. All right? When the president is speaking, computers might bottom or top markets off of SMA calculations that are the calculation of a president's number, like president number 45, 46, 47. I think Donald Trump is the 47th president now, I believe. Again, I kind of don't pay attention too much to politics, but I'm pretty sure he's the 47th president, right? Let me just double check before I say something stupid. Is DJ Trump 47th president? No, I think so. Yeah. All right. So he's the 47th president. So when Donald Trump is um, scheduled to do a press release, right? What are you going to hear on the news? News will say markets are markets are on edge awaiting Donald Trump's press release today at 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock. All right. That's well known. All right. So behind the scenes, um, you know, on that day, the banks and programs or whatever might be more hyper focused on the SMA calculation 47 rather than SMA 50, right? So that might be a day where you're looking at the 50 SMA and you're looking for a dip buy on it and it misses the 50 SMA, but just by a little bit. You're like, well, it's still a 50 SMA dip buy. Granted, the computers might bought the dip on the 47 SMA because Donald Trump is speaking and he's the 47th president, and that's code language in the market. You understand? So that's how you can, it's arguably how legal insider trading works. All right. We can know what we're talking about without ever opening our mouth and putting it on paper or on a recorded phone call, right? Banks can tell other banks they're manipulating the market or they're buying the market by simple SMA code language, which is interpreted, can be interpreted and spoken in the market without using verbal words. All right. So, anyways, that's today's spiel. Just know that we don't give a shit about your bull flag or your pattern. All right. So, anyways, there's the VIX going down to the $17, and I don't know. It's pretty much there. I mean, did it get the perfect penny tag? No. Will it? Probably yes. I don't care if it does or doesn't, whatever. But job well done, folks. Job well done. I hope you guys bought the dip like I did. I hope you guys made some money. I hope every did okay today. I hope your day is blessed. And yeah, I hope no bad juju comes your way. Good morning. I thought for certain today was going to be the day YouTube's like, yeah, you know what? We're going to blow up the YouTube stream. You told everyone we should probably buy the dip on the stock market, largest globally traded ETF, and you also told everyone kind of where the VIX was going to go before it happened. I would assume that's the kind of support that a lot of the retail market needs and wants, but I guess I was wrong. I don't know. Maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day. We'll get there. And if we don't, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. But it will be funny. Nice job, everyone. Good job. Good day. Good day. Hopefully you guys had a great Thanksgiving. Cheers. All right, that's enough of that. Yeah, so I'm probably gonna start working on some email stuff in the background. If I notice something that's cool, maybe I'll say something. But other than that, I don't have a whole lot to say. I think now, unless, yeah, no. Hmm, hmm, nah, nah. Hmm, it's fine. Oh, no shit. And- Oh, a straight cabin. Again, guys, when I'm on the stream, I may or may not tell you everything I do or don't buy for the day. Sometimes I'll take a trade that, I don't know, I don't really think is worthy of mentioning to people. Might test something out. Also, if I'm buying a penny stock too, I don't, sometimes I'll buy it and just not even say anything because, don't want someone trying to pump my stock or, essentially, I don't. YouTube's delayed by like 10 seconds. So if I buy something, then say I'm buying something, then it's already delayed information to you. And so I may or may not say stuff sometimes, so just keep that in the back of your mind. So, like I said, at the end of the day, I'm not here to pump stocks. I'm not here to do anything like that. So, which pretty much anytime I buy a stock and say it to anyone on the internet, that's pretty much, something that can happen. All right. Intentionally and or unintentionally. So, that being said, I may mention stocks, I may talk about them, but sometimes I'll let you know if I'm buying it, sometimes I won't. I just whatever I feel in the moment, I guess. Because sometimes I do buy stuff and I'm like, this looks good, but it also kind of looks sketchy. And it's like, last thing I want is someone buying into something and just ruining their account. Um, you know, but anyways. So essentially what's going to happen here is we're just going to stay long the stock market. That's it. We're just going to stay long the stock market until the system tells me to not be long the stock market, and then I'll tell you to not be long the stock market if you couldn't already read it from the system. Mm, 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 mm. Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, I know I'm not really saying a whole lot here. I don't really know what else there is to say. That's it. Job well done. Day's over. The day is over. Not really, but you know, again, we're just gonna stay long the stock market. There's nothing else to do uh, until we get signals for the market to break down. Now, that could happen. I'm not saying the market can't roll over, but yeah, again, it's one of those situations where, if we come back down here and look at the VIX, actually, let's delete this stuff off. Um, what was I saying? Yeah. yeah, let's just go to this screen. So this is pretty much the story, right? So the stock market's been going up for like the past week and a half, right? So what do we see? We know the VIX entered a downtrend here, so the VIX has been going down. The VIX this morning gapped up, kind of got close to the 50 SMA, but never got over it. So that means the market's still in a downtrend. If the VIX goes over, then we'll look to pull the market back. Hasn't happened yet, right? Could it? Yes, sure, but has it? No. So, what do you do? Still look dip by until proven wrong, right? So that's pretty much it. When the VIX starts to break out again, we'll be bearish the stock market. You guys will know about it, as you always do. So we're just gonna again stay dip long the market till we're told not to do so. That's it. Let's see if any other penny stock popped up here on the scanners or if something else is changing that maybe looks good. I mean, not really. I mean, there's a couple random things, but I just don't really see anything that's breaking out in this exact moment that I would really care to trade. Give us a good story. Yeah, I guess we could do that. What a good story. I shot my brother in the head with a BB gun once. Yeah. He was riding on the back of a four-wheeler, and it was me and his childhood friend Brian. And me and Brian were sitting near my bonfire pit while my brother was riding on the back of a four-wheeler. I don't know who was driving at the time, but he was kind of hanging on the back or riding on the back. And my buddy Brian or his friend was like, "I bet you can't shoot your brother." And I was like, "I bet you I can." Granted, I didn't actually try, but I did. I wasn't actually aiming, but I just kind of arm held it, just kind of like down by my hips. So kind of did like a hip shot and somehow shot him in the back of the head. That was crazy. I was grounded. I did not get to go skateboarding that weekend with my friends at Zero Gravity Skate Park, which had been planned for a few months. So then I started crying like a little Sally. If there's any Sallys in here, I'm sorry. You have a nice name, but I was crying like a little Sally. Um, he's still alive, so that's good. I didn't fully finish him off. So that happened. I went to the hospital for 3 or 4 days, in like sixth or seventh grade, right around there, the summer of sixth grade, going into seventh grade, because I let my friend drive the four-wheeler that we owned at the time, and he flipped it and crashed it on my leg, and I almost got muscle fasciitis, which is when the blood pressure within your muscles swells up too much and there's too much blood pressure and it can damage all your muscle and then eventually you would have to have your leg amputated. That almost happened, and if it were to happen, then they have to take knives or whatnot and they cut open your entire muscle tissue to let the blood drain out, and you have these crazy scars. I was close to that. I was like a few percentage points of like blood pressure off from needing my leg completely cut open on both sides. That was crazy. I still actually have some leg issues from that. So that happened. A lot of a lot of random things. Keep going. Yeah. Mm, One time I totaled my mom's brand new car in the winter. I was driving down the highway. I just left work, and it was a big snow. It was the first big snowstorm in Michigan. And anyways, I was driving down the road, guy next to me in a minivan. I don't know if he lost traction or if he was trying to lane switch and whatever, but I was right next to him and he started to veer into my lane and I got a little timid and I jerked the wheel a little too quickly and then I went off the road. He kept going. Dang it. Well, no, good for him, right? But anyways, I jerked the wheel as he was kind of swerving into my lane, and then I lost traction, went off the side of the road, hit the rails on the side of the highway, and totaled my mom's brand new car she just bought. Funny thing though, it was a salvage title car. If you're not familiar what salvage title is, it's basically cars have been in floods or wrecks, so they get sold cheaper. So we bought a salvage title car. So we got this car for like it's like 14 grand or 15 grand. It was a Chevy. It was like a Chevy Traverse or something like that. Maybe an Equinox or something like that back in the day. And anyways, so I totaled this car, which we had just bought a few days prior. And my car was in the shop, so I was using her car for the day to go to work. And then, yeah, I totaled it. And we only spent 14 grand on it or 15. And somehow the insurance wrote it up as a green title car, even though it was salvage. So they gave us the insurance payout for what a brand new MSRP price was for this car, even though we just bought it a couple days ago for like half. So we bought it for like 14 grand or 15 grand. The insurance gave us $27,000 for the car because they wrote it up as a green title car, even though it was a wrecked salvage title car we bought. So that was pretty sick. So I was like, sorry for crashing your car, mom, but also I just made you like 12 G's. So can't really be mad. That was pretty cool. So yeah, Bitcoin's just going down. Market is just kind of chilling, hanging out. Mhm, mm. Guess we'll just pop on here real quick to the old chat room Magoo. All right. So also, by the way, if you guys are any futures traders, you guys want to trade, we did do like a Black Friday. I don't really advertise a whole lot of stuff these days, but if you guys wanted to join pretty much the futures trading group that, I kind of semi-manage and Brandon leads, this is it. So Brandon, doing what he normally does, makes thousands every day. So he made 6,300 and she's probably made like 10 grand a day or something. Who knows, maybe 20. I don't really, it's too hard to pay attention anymore. Dude makes way too much money. Anyways, this is our room. And yeah, if you guys are interested, I don't know if you guys trade futures. I don't really know who you guys are, but if you guys trade futures and you want, we're doing a free trial, I think for 2 weeks right now. You could trade with my business partner, Brandon, in this room. And yeah, you can check it out. You can cancel. You don't have to pay us, but if you want, we are doing a free trial the Black Friday thing. So I will send out that link or whatever here before the end of today's stream. But yeah, we'll just kind of run through this real quick. One sec. I don't know. There's a bunch. There's just tons in here. So this is just all Fibonacci for the most part. A lot of the traders use Top Stepper, different prop firms and whatnot. So let's see, that's Semper. This is a trader of ours. I got a friend in the group who's been with us for, I don't know, 6, 7 years now. He does pretty well, it seems. So yeah, he supposedly made 980 today. Brandon 6,000. Um, Black Ops, that's another trader in a room. He's put on some small gains there. Various accounts, 60, 60, 122, 3, 4. Probably like a $400 day there, not bad. Lee San, a lot of different accounts there. That's cool. Brandon's P&L, same old jam. Um, oh, there's Semper. That's his trade doing really well. He's got one NQ on. Nice. Yeah. So, anyways, if you guys are interested, I'll send out a thing for it in a little bit. No pressure, obviously. Whether you do or don't, pretty much irrelevant. Doesn't matter. Mm, 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 mm. Mm, 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 mm. Next, I need to go to Sasa. Hmm. Mm, mm, mm. Well, that's not right. Something's going on. What's the deal? Okay. 200. Let's see. There it is. So I'm just doing a little updating on my rental slash real estate portfolio right now. Mhm. Probably gonna be 1617, so like once. All right, here's a small update. Real estate portfolio, cash on cash return, last 12 months, negative 14%. Again, we're doing a lot of remodeling stuff going on. So yeah, a couple months here. Well, no, got another we got a big HVAC job to do and then a big crawl space job to do. So don't foresee the numbers improving too drastically over the foreseeable future. While we do some of these big jobs, it's going to take a while for the cash on cash return to kind of outbeat some of the expenses. But in January, we're going to see a big boost on the income here. So it'll be interesting to see how the numbers adjust when we get one of the properties we have that's debt free, that's going to be rented out in January. So I wonder if that's going to finally put the cash on cash return for the past 12 months, at least to some positive. And then we got just in November some more expenses going on. What was that for? Yeah, so pretty much, like I said, we just got a lot of remodeling going on one property. Um, Garage remodel on another property. So it's just a bunch of remodeling stuff coming in right all at the same time. So it'll take a little bit, fix that cash on cash return. But just is what it is. So yeah, we're basically running, if you were to average it all out, spend about $4,000 a month right now on property stuff with remodels, right? So it's been a kind of a crazy year in that regard. So that's that. So I'll update you guys as that continues. Let's see, Google. Oh, that ain't it. Well, that is lame. Yeah, so that's definitely it. Oh, I see. All right, little update here. Portfolio, longer term investment stuff. 177,000 account value, which is nice. I think the last time we did this and like this was 172,000, so that's good. 24% or so return. Oh, wait, I don't think you can see that. Hold on. 1 year trailing. That's our 1 year trailing. 24% or so, give or take. Yeah, just two 401ks, boring trading stuff. So that's good. So that's doing well. It's nice to see that doing well. My real estate portfolio is getting slapped. With all these remodels and stuff, but that's all good. So that's good. Oh, come on. What is this stupid? Why has it got to be dumb? I don't understand. Why is my computer like freaking out now? It's just glitching. Oh, I see. There you go. All right. Uh, sure. Hmm. Mm. Oh, nice. That makes it easy. Let's see. So it does not seem right. Hmm. 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 That. Yeah, okay. Took me a while to do some mathing there, but let's see. So this is pretty cool. This is kind of on the small account. This is the realized loss gain details. So what's nice about this is over the past couple months, uh, is that I'm putting on significantly more winners than I am losers. Even this hike, this pass, this has been really good here. I've had obviously some losers in the 20%. Not many though. I usually try to keep them in the 10 to 5. That's ideal. But definitely hitting a lot more winners as of recently, so that's good. That's fun. Um, but yeah, that's the small account, and that guy, let's bring that up. Where is this at? There we go. Yeah, and so smaller Roth AR, is there no account number here, right? No, not really. I could scroll down a bit. There we go. That's fine. There you go. So this is a small account. Again, I've been working on for like the past year or so here and there. So These numbers are all out of whack. I don't know. I don't understand how Charles Schwab gets this shit so wrong, but the gain for the year is 48.4%. So I've put on a 48.4% return on the small Roth IRA account this year. Even though it says that it's up 86%, that's so not correct. I know it somehow calculates contribution. Somehow, I don't know what they do, but it's way wrong. It's only like 48%. As much as I'd love to tell you I did an 80% gain, it's only 48. So yeah, like I said, behind the scenes, a lot of like the small trades and stuff we talk about on the stream, it's all behind the scenes on the small Roth IRA account. So again, I don't risk a bunch on this account. I don't do anything crazy. I just basically, keep positions relatively small and just try to hit back-to-back winnies as the name of the game goes. But anyway, so this one's doing pretty good. So overall, long-term portfolio is up, whatever that was, 25%. Real estate portfolio is down 14% trailing 1 year. Small fund trading account for our YouTube streams is up 48%. And then, yeah, so that's pretty much most of it there. Bitcoin's up good. Liquidated some physical gold and silvers. Same jam as always. So, yep, there we have it, folks. That's pretty much most of the portfolio that we pretty much talk about here on the stream. Obviously, there's other little random things, but that's mainly it. So just know again, every time we're doing little trades, talking about UPRO, penny stocks, all that's being done in my Roth IRA account on the side. That's pretty much specifically, well, I would say it's only used, but it's mainly used for the purpose of this stream. So yep, though you may not be seeing trades going in all the time, I mean, I'll do my, update you guys, but it just know that behind the scenes, I'm just investing in a small Roth IRA account. And then obviously contributing to it because I haven't been able to for some time, but that's pretty much it. Do, 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 do. What the heck? Where did YouTube go? Did I actually close out YouTube? Maybe. I didn't think I did. Hmm, That. No, where did it go? Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh, might as well probably get a link for that now, eh? Probably. Let's see. What was I doing? Yep, that guy, that guy, that guy. Actually, might just be log out, join. Yep, here you go. Copy. Yep, so pretty much if you guys, if you're interested, which I'm gonna assume probably not, but if you are, there's a link, takes you to our website. That's going to be kind of a checkout page. You'll see that on that page, currently there's a subscription plan for a 14-day free trial if you would like to join into a futures trading room. We obviously talk about VIX and all the other stuff too, but for the most part, it's probably just going to be my business partner, Brandon, managing that room. Like I said, I pretty much spend my time here free on YouTube, a little bit in our private stuff, but yeah, ultimately, there you go. You can get a free trial and, trade with the guy who pretty much makes, what seems to be like millions of dollars, but not really, but you get the point. Very, very consistent trader. That being said, if you guys want to join, 14-day free trial. Um, yeah, there you go. That's going to be more of your hyper trading, faster trading, very, in with shorter term price action. A lot of what you guys see here on the stream is more of a generalized flow of things, give you the general idea of what's going to happen. That sort of is going to give you that very intricate, detailed planning of how we move markets. 10:43. Hmm. Bruh, what? How are you gonna tell me you're on the way right now, but our appointment isn't until freaking 12 o'clock? Well, I mean, I guess if you're coming from an hour, wait, when did they send that? So you sent me, you're on the way for an hour and 30 minutes ago. So that must mean you got a far travel. Let's see, what is the time of that meeting? Oh, I haven't had a day off in like swear 2.5 months. Burning fumes here, ladies and gentlemen. Burning fumes. Yeah, so um I don't have a whole lot to say anymore. We've pretty much done everything we could do for you today on the stream. Oh my gosh, why is Bitcoin going down? God damn it, Michael Saylor. Would you just save the planet already? Save us from Bitcoin. Oh no. This thing's actually progressing at a rate significantly faster to the downside than I kind of expected to have. Maybe not. I mean, honestly, let's see. How far are we in this right now? So we are all-time high here. I mean, so far we're 57 days into the bear market is the way I would think of that. We're about 57 days, maybe 60 days. So we arguably have another, let's see. Oh, let me do some math. Oh shit. Mm, 400 days. So I'd say we got about 400 days of just pretty much down, pop up, back down. So yeah, I think we got about another 400, give or take, plus days of this. So just be ready, just buckle up. Bitcoin to 77,000. Shoot, I got Bitcoin down to at least 50. Well, maybe not 50, but I don't really care. 50 to 30, I could say any of that would make sense to me. 100% guaranteed my price target for Bitcoin is going to be somewhere down in below sub 60s to 50s. And it's kind of the thing too. It's this bear market we got right now is progressing. Is it? I don't know. See, that's another thing. You know what? Let me think to myself for a second. I don't want to say my first thoughts are that this Bitcoin bear market's progressing faster than previous ones, but I could be wrong. So we're down currently we're down 34% from the highs, give or take 34, 35%, something like that. Um, And we're only 57 days in, so we still got another 400 days to go, I think, give or take. So let's track this guy here. So let's see, where were we at 57 days in? So this one here, 57 days in, give or take, would put us right. That's 29, 30, 50 days in. 58 days in, we were down. About, oh, I did that wrong. Hold on, let me zoom in. Let's make sure this is fully accurate. So last cycle, we went in 57 days, and I might have 57 wrong. I did it kind of quick. So we were down about 34%, 30, yeah, about 34%, 57 days in, or that's 50, yeah, 57 days in or so, 58 days in, we're down 34% on our last cycle. This time around, we are down about 34% at 57 days in. Is that 57? Hold on, I think I did that wrong. One second. Absolute tippy there. So we're at 60 days in right now, and we're down about same amount. So I would say that the previous market to this market are progressing almost perfectly in sync. See, what I thought was this market's progressing faster than the past was wrong. I had to go double check, and when I double check, we're actually almost the exact same amount of days down, same amount of percentage decrease from highs. So far the market is actually it's almost in perfect lockstep to the past Bitcoin peak and bear market. So yeah, I got easy sub 60s, another 400 days of this bullshit. So we got 400 days of Twitter bros going, this is the bottom. This is the bottom. And alt season's coming. And 400 days of CNBC just chopping up retail investors. This is why the market's going down. Then this is why the market's going up. Then this is why it's going down. But it's actually going up because Earth and Saturn aligned this year in a cosmic astrology interlooping linear line formation. Yeah, okay, shut up. So we got 400 plus days of um, basically therapy that we're going to have to provide to the market, you know. There's going to be a lot of people that their little bums are going to be hurt, right? Their butts are going to get hurt, their feelings are going to get hurt, their accounts are going to get hurt, and it's going to be a good old giggle fest for us here. How do you get into Bitcoin? What broker do you use for Bitcoin? I have no idea how Bitcoin works. I've looked into it, but then you have to create a wallet, blah, 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 confusing. Yeah, I mean, you could say it's not the most straightforward thing. So this is pretty much how it is. You either want to own Bitcoin or you want to own an instrument that allows you to capture the price action of Bitcoin. So nowadays, with the institutionalized or institutions getting involved and the cryptocurrency market becoming a little bit more mainstream, a little more regulated, we now have ETFs and things you can buy. So you can basically buy Bitcoin via an ETF provided by one of the big banks. All right. So again, the big banks that said it's all a scam, right, and said it's all worthless and it's all bullshit, are now the ones providing you ETFs on it. So again, as the story always goes, never listen to the big bankies. They just want your monies, right? So whatever they say, you just think the exact opposite. Usually leads you in the right direction. So nonetheless, you can buy ETFs or you could buy cryptocurrency or you could buy Bitcoin, right? How are you going to buy Bitcoin? Let's just keep it simple. Go to Coinbase, set up an account on Coinbase, just like you would an investment account with Fidelity or Charles Schwab. So you just go to Coinbase, create an account, and then you buy Bitcoin, and that's it. And now you have Bitcoin. You are the owner of Bitcoin. But if you don't set up, like you're saying, a wallet and transfer the Bitcoin to your wallet, then Coinbase is the one that's actually holding your currency. Though you may own it in the sense that it's in your account attached to your name, and the dollar value up or down is directly tied to you, you yourself don't actually have the Bitcoin in your own secure wallet and account. Not to say that where Bit or Coinbase is holding it isn't secure. It's just it's not you, right? That's like you buying Bitcoin and going, Connor, I think you're smarter than me. Here, let me let you hold my Bitcoin, but then you just tell me how much money I'm making. And you be honest. And if I want to sell it, you sell it and you give me however much money I made, right? That's essentially what you're doing when you buy on Bitcoin and let them hold. You're saying, I'm not comfortable managing my own money. Do it for me. And they'll gladly do it for you. Hence why they are Coinbase and their company is massive now, right? By the way, market's going up. Cheers. That's sick. Kind of thought for a second, I'm like, is this where the market does some shisty shit? But nope, VIX never confirmed down, so market's still going up. Cool. Right? So that's what's going on there. Is you can buy it on Coinbase, you can hold it on Coinbase. You never have to move it to a wallet if you don't want to move it to a wallet. You don't have to, right? If you want to move it to your own wallet, then you can do that. So how do you do that? So the same way that you set up your account to pay your utility bills, the same way that you pay rent, the same way that you pay a mortgage, the same way you do anything on planet Earth in this current day and time when it comes to digital accounts is the same thing you'll do with the wallet. You will go to a place that provides a wallet. You will set up an account. You will give them your information. Once the account is set up, you now have a digital wallet, just like the one you carry in your back pocket, but just on the internet. That wallet will come with an address, just like the bank account. When you send a wire transfer or you set up an ACH transfer and you get someone's bank account information and put in your information, that's the same thing, but it's a digital crypto wallet. You create the account, you are then given an address where then people can send crypto to your wallet. What you've just become is your own bank. So the same thing the bank does for you today, you can do for yourself tomorrow. But the only scary thing there is people are scared because they now know they are the bank. Their whole lives, they had somebody else bank for them. FDIC insured accounts. Well, what happened if I lose my money? Someone stole my money, or what if the bank is on the hook with an FDIC assured account. When you go into cryptocurrency and you do these things, you are the bank. You are the only recourse for mistake. That's where people get scared. And it's totally understandable, right? Who wants to be their own bank and then screw themselves up and then have no sort of course of action to get any of your money back? That would suck, right? So people are scared of it in that sense, and it's totally understandable. But again, that's kind of the game. It's like, do you want to be forever controlled by these big bank mega corporations, or would you like to take power back into your own hands and be responsible fully for your own money? There you go. That's pretty much it. So you're basically deciding if I want to keep my own digital money in my own wallet and be responsible for how and when and where my money goes and is spent. Or do I not want to do that and forever give my money and my control to the bank so that they, behind the scenes, can take all of my money and then go invest my money and then make a bunch of money off of my money while giving me a piece of shit in my account, a little 0.001% return or whatever the hell it is, whatever scam return they're giving you, right? That's what you're playing with. That is what's going on. So the whole entire time there is this new technology evolving behind the scenes that can give kind of banking power back to individuals in a way where it's removing control from the banking system. The banking system and Jamie Dimon come out and go, it's a scam. It's a Ponzi scheme. You don't want it. You don't need it. Don't use it. Don't blah, blah, blah. And now here we are, and the banks all offer ETFs. And now they're buying a bunch of Bitcoin and owing a bunch of Bitcoin. And oh my gosh, what do you know? False advertisement, possibly? No. Manipulation? Who knows, right? So again, we live in a very, very unfair, harsh world, you know. So you just got to put your big boy glasses on and hopefully see the world for what it is. And it's a very unfair place. It's an evil, unfair place. There's good in it and there's evil in it. And we pretty much walk that earth every single day. And at some point, you're going to get a taste of both. Um, and especially when there's money involved. When there's money involved, usually your heart's good intentions go out the door for many people. It from them becomes about self gain or ill-gotten gain. Once you start putting money in it, as it says, money's the root of all evil. It's not that money is evil, and it's not that you become evil, but money is a fast lane to evil action and betrayal to your neighbor, if you will. Step over them to gain for myself, you know. And that's pretty much what the entire banking industry is, right? They say, come to me, give me your money, I'll keep it safe. And then behind the scenes, they take all of your money and they go start investing it, and they take all of the return for themselves and give you nothing. So it's them getting over on their neighbor for their own gain, right? So that's the whole story. When money is involved, evil is generally right around the corner. And at some point or another, we've probably all made an incorrect decision when it comes to money, whether that was betting against a friend. If he loses his money, I win, right? But your friend had to lose. You know, how's that feel making your friend losing something? Well, he did it to himself, sure, but at the end of the day, that's pretty much how that stuff works. So, anyways, I gotta run. I gotta go jump over to a rental property today. Thumbs up, guys. You did a great job. I did nothing, but you predicted the stock market today. You said that the stock market would probably go up, the dip would probably get bought. We did not read one news thing. We didn't look at any news related anything today, and somehow the market went up. So, how is it that we didn't read any news? We didn't know any sort of talking point for the market today, but we still said it would go up and it went up, right? So, do you guys need to read news? Do you? Probably not. That's a game for who knows what. I literally don't even know the purpose of news anymore. I don't even, I want to speak more positively about it, but I don't see any value, other than just like filling your mind up with a bunch of random shit that's not gonna matter. Literally, none of it even matters. You know? Like 3 weeks ago, it was like the AI thing and oh yeah, remember the government was shut down and like it was going to destroy the world. But now look, who's talking about that? No, again, so you can fill your mind up with a bunch of garbage that's not going to change your life, really. Well, that's not entirely true. I mean, if you were a part of the government shutdown and lost your job, then yeah, then you're paying attention. You want to know what's going on. I get it, right? You know, but at the end of the day, I mean, humans, I mean, all this stuff just comes and goes, comes and goes. And if you can learn to not hold on to any of it, again, it's a lot better for you. It's a much healthier way of living, I think. And it took me a while. It took me a long time. I used to read news. I used to love getting involved in the politics stuff. And then I realized that I'm only going to be here for a short period of time, and none of this even matters. None of it, literally. So love you guys. Have a great day. Don't do anything stupid, and we'll catch you back tomorrow. Cheers.